All right, everybody. It has officially happened. The move that I think we all knew was almost certainly going to happen, but some of us were hoping maybe wouldn't happen, has happened. The Seattle Seahawks have released Tyler Lockett. He played 10 really good seasons here in Seattle, had a great career, will probably end up in the Ring of Honor, will be remembered as one of the best receivers in franchise history. And it is kind of sad. It is kind of a tough day for those of us that have been Seahawks fans for a long time because what he did over his 10-year career really means something. He was a very, very meaningful player for this team over the last decade. And he will be missed. He will be missed. I think he still has something left to offer in this league, but he'll be offering it somewhere else. And I know that one of the questions that people are going to have about this is, well, could he come back to Seattle? Could he, after getting released, come back and sign a new deal with the Seahawks? I would assume no. If that was going to happen, I think that that would have basically happened immediately alongside the quote-unquote release with a redone contract. I don't think you would have it be segmented out where they release him and then re-sign him. So I would assume no. And let's remember here, we know how NFL players are. We know how people are in general. There is tremendous hesitancy in returning to a team that has previously released you because the player, regardless of whether or not the move is good, can take it personally. They can be like, well, I guess you don't want me. You released me, right? You took away some of the money that contractually you said I was going to get by releasing me, so I guess you don't want me, so I'm not even going to want to come back to you for any reason. That is how a lot of these players take it, so I would assume that that's off the table as well. So I'm not expecting that Tyler Lockett will be here next year. And I do think that at this point, he will probably play in the NFL in 2025, which surprises me. I thought he would be one of those, 10-year and out guys, but sounds like he wants to play, and somebody's going to be willing to throw him at least a little bit of money. All right, so the release of Tyler Lockett frees up about $17 million of salary cap space, which is why this had to be done. Like, I'm sorry. I know that he is a beloved player, and I know some things are bigger than money, and I get all that, but $17 million is more valuable to this team than what Lockett can give you on the field. That's just the reality of the situation. So we still are giving him like 13, 14 million against the cap this year, but that's the way the deal was set up. That's the way the contract was set up. So we're still going to be paying for this one just a little bit here, but that doesn't make it a bad move. This to me was, it's a difficult move on an emotional level, but in a practical, technical sense, it is kind of a no-brainer here. So Spotrac, and by the way, shout out to Spotrac, they've already updated with Lockett being released, right? Lockett's not listed here anymore, so they've already updated. If you take a look at the page, if you take a look at the releases we've had so far, basically, first of all, the only release that is pending that seems like a reasonable move is Noah Fant. Noah Fant, apparently we're not really trying to let him go. There has been a lot of talk lately that he's going to stick around, which maybe Kubiak swung in here and was like, wait a minute, I think I can use this guy. So maybe not, but that's the one guy left that most of us expected would be gone this offseason. So everybody else is gone. I don't think anybody else here is a release candidate. Maybe some people would say Geno. I still think that even if you wanted to not have Geno next year, you would be able to trade him for something. But maybe that would be the only one. Like, you're not releasing Metcalf, right? You're not going to release Metcalf because he has too much trade value. It sounds like they've already committed to not releasing Nwosu. Sounds like they've already kind of handcuff themselves to Nwosu here, and they're going to go ahead and figure out a way to make it work with him. Myers, I don't think that's a realistic release candidate. Woolen, you would trade, you wouldn't release. And nobody else would really save significant money here. I maybe like an Abe Lucas, I guess, or Kobe Bryant, but you're not going to release either of those guys. They're still pretty cheap. So that is really about it on that front. So the majority of the money the Seahawks are likely to save from here on out is going to come from a Geno extension and a Metcalf extension, which I still think are imminent. I still think those two things are going to happen. I don't know exactly how much money we save from those, but it will be non-trivial. We might rework Nwosu, get that cap hit down a little bit. You might see some kind of I wonder if we might extend Noah Fant to get the cap hit down, because if we don't want to get rid of him, then I assume we're going to have a problem with a $13.5 million cap hit on him. And yeah, basically most of the work is done. Now, if I am doing my math correctly, we should now be somewhere around $35 million under the cap. Spotrac has 32.5. I think the actual number is a little bit higher than that, but this stuff is really hard to really work out. So I'm not going to stress too much about getting the exact number right. It's over 30 million. We know that. Somewhere between 30 million and 40 million, and we're not done. So things are looking pretty good right now, I think. Now, I will say this. This is going to be another year where we have more than 10% of our salary cap in dead cap hits, and that's not fun. That's not good. And maybe there are some people that need to be criticized for that. I think we're up close to about, we're not quite at 12%, but we're above 11%. So that is a significant percentage of our salary cap that is going to players that are not here. And hopefully that's something we can start to get away from next season going forward. Obviously, every team has to deal with dead cap money. Some teams have to take it on much more than just 11% in one season, but this is not really something you want to have happen year after year after year, right? This is, the dead cap stuff is more like, it's more stuff that you want to get over with for one season and just take it all on like 25, 30% and then just be done with it for the next few years. And then you kind of go back and forth in these waves of extremes. I think that would be preferable to having like 10%, 11%, 10%, 11% year after year after year. So we need to get away from that at some point. But yeah, Tyler Lockett is gone. He has been released. And the Seahawks now have over $30 million in cap space to play with. And that gives us plenty of money to spend on free agency next week. We just have to do it. And also, we got to think about the Ernest Jones extension, which still, to my knowledge, has not been announced. But I believe is coming. Okay. See you guys later today or tomorrow. Should be streaming on Twitch later. We've gotten a few hours into Lost Judgment. It's good so far, so come on by if that sounds fun to you. And we'll see if the Seahawks have anything else up their sleeve the rest of the day. But for now, just that one release. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Go Hawks.